If I only had 3 months to lose all of my belly fat, here's exactly what I would do. Number one, I would get 80% of my total calories from quality single ingredient foods. And now the reason why I'm such a big fan of this one particular method is because it becomes very, very difficult to overeat and overdo it on the calories if the majority of the food is coming from whole natural single ingredient foods. So think of your lean sources of protein like chicken breast, lean ground beef, fish, steak, or whole grains like oatmeal, rice, pasta, your healthy fats, avocados, nuts, seeds, and nut butters, and of course your fruits and veggies. I guarantee you, if 80% of your diet consists of those types of foods, it becomes increasingly more difficult to overdo it on the calories and therefore put you in a calorie surplus, which that is ultimately going to be the determining factor whether or not you're going to gain weight or lose weight. Number two, I would avoid processed foods because they're very addictive and, contrary to whole foods, very easy to overeat. I want you to think of this. Whenever someone tells you they binged on their diet, what do you think they ate? Do you think they binged on their diet with a bunch of chicken breast, with a massive salad, with a fruit salad? Probably not, right? More than likely, they probably binged on junk food, highly processed foods, burgers, fries, pizza, cookies, ice cream, you name it. And so that is why, if you want to increase your chances of actually sticking to your diet, I would try to avoid processed foods as much as you can. So going back to my previous point, make sure that 80% of your calories come from those single ingredient, high quality foods. And then the other 20%, you can definitely indulge in more of these processed foods. And number three, this is a pretty underrated tip, but try to eat similar meals every single day, simply just to keep your diet as simple as possible. I sometimes go through phases where I just don't want to keep track of my food on MyFitnessPal, and in order for me to still roughly know how many calories and macros I'm consuming, I just literally eat the same foods every single day. And we tend to have a rotation of 5 to 10 meals or so that we just keep on rotation, and we kind of eat similarly, right? Because how many breakfasts do you think you can actually really eat? There's only a couple off the top of my head that I would actually consistently eat. If you guys watch my Snapchat or Instagram stories, you guys know that I'm addicted to my protein oatmeal, right? It's just some oatmeal with some salt. I add protein sludge on top and I add berries. And I've been having that for breakfast for the past several months now. Same thing with my lunches and my dinners. It's always some form of carbohydrates, usually in the form of sweet potato. I always add green veggies like broccoli or spinach. And then my typical protein is just some chicken breast. Like, I eat the same foods every single day. And so this saves me so much time from having to go into the MyFitnessPal app, log every single food I eat, because I know exactly already how much food I'm already eating, because I'm eating the same foods every single day. So to simplify your diet, I would highly encourage you to do that. Number four, eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight to build muscle. This is pretty standard, and I think most people who are somewhat into fitness already kind of know this, but protein is super, super important, not just to help you build muscle, but it also is super, super satiating. Out of the 3 macronutrients that there are, so again, there are carbohydrates, there are fats, and there's protein. Protein is actually the most satiating macronutrient, which means it also takes a bit longer for your body to break down and digest. So especially if you're trying to lose body fat when you're naturally just more prone to muscle loss, protein is going to be really, really important for that. And then also, since being in a calorie deficit naturally makes you just more hungrier overall because you're eating less calories than you burn, keeping your protein intake nice and high can kind of combat that as well. So this is going to be your best friend on a fat loss phase. And now to go alongside that, point number 5, try to eat protein with every single meal. This will make your meal a lot more complete. You'll feel a lot more satisfied after eating it, and it just makes it easier to hit your daily protein goal. Let's say you're a 200-pound male and your goal is to eat 200 grams of protein. It is pretty difficult to eat 200 grams of protein just like on accident, right? So you really have to make sure that in every single meal you eat, you incorporate a high quality source of protein, whether it's chicken breast, beef, steak, eggs, egg whites, fish, you name it. And just for some quick, easy maths, if you want to eat on average 4 meals per day and your goal is to hit 200 grams of protein, simply try to have 50 grams of protein in every single meal. Number 6, resistance train at least 3 times per week. In order to grow muscle, I highly recommend to train each muscle at least 2 times per week. And now there's a bunch of different ways that you can split this up. You can either do 2 whole body workouts, or you can split it up into an upper lower split 4 times a week, or a push pull leg split 5 to 6 times a week. However you want to split it up, just make sure you train each muscle group 2 times per week, because it's been shown study after study, especially nowadays, that the bro split, or training each muscle group only once a week, is not optimal for muscle growth, whereas training each muscle at least 2 times per week is far more beneficial for muscle growth. Point number 7 to go alongside that is implement progressive overloads to build muscle. Doing the same workout workouts with the same weights, the same reps, week after week after week after week is not going to stimulate your body to actually keep on growing muscle. In the first couple of weeks, sure, since it's more of a novel stimulus, your body still has to get used to it. You may grow a little bit of muscle, but especially over time, your body will very quickly get used to that and therefore not grow muscle. So in order to keep stimulating your body and stimulating your muscle groups, you're going to have to over time keep increasing the demands on your body. And you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can either add more weight. So if on week 1 you did 100 pounds, on week 2 try to do 105 pounds, or you can add more reps. So if you did 10 reps on week 1, try to do 11 reps on week 2, or you can do a combination of both, adding more weights and or adding more reps. You can also add more sets over time to add more volume. You can also increase your range of motion. You can also improve your form. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can progressively overload. Just pick one of the many methods to ensure that you're building muscle over time. And number 8, shift your focus from weight loss to actually building healthy habits, because far too often I see way too many people tell themselves that, okay, next 2 months I'm going to live this healthy lifestyle, I'm going to lose a bunch of weight, but then they have no plan afterwards. And so what you'll notice with a lot of these people, and you're probably one of them, where you give yourself a deadline and say, okay, over the next 2 months or 3 months, I'm going to do this. And then afterwards, I have no plan. And what will happen after the plan? You're more than likely just going to go back to your old habits again and regain all the weight back again, if not more. The whole rebound yo-yo effect is a real thing. And I see this far too often. And it really, really sucks, because you're putting into work for 2-3 months. You've completely changed up your diets. You're exercising. You're eating healthy. You're sleeping more. You're doing well, right? But then why would you put yourself in a situation to let all that hard work go to waste and go back to square one again? So make sure that you don't just focus on losing weight, but that you're actually creating the habits necessary to keep the weight off, because that is arguably the most important part. Number 9, this one is super underrated, but surround yourself with a group of fit friends. You guys have probably heard this numerous times before, but you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And so if you right now are in a situation or in an environment where all of your friends, all of your colleagues, all of your acquaintances are overweight, lazy, the chances of you being overweight and lazy are going to be very, very high. Whereas if you change your environment and change your social circle to more fit people, you're automatically just going to be more fit. Number 10, to go alongside that, choose a partner who also prioritizes their health in their life. It can be a really toxic relationship if on one hand you're trying to live this healthy, active lifestyle, but then your partner is trying to do the exact opposite or just simply doesn't care about that. There's going to be some conflict one way or another, especially over time. And this is arguably one of the most important decisions that you'll make in your life. So make sure that you choose wisely. Number 11, eat on a schedule. This will regulate your hunger cues and circadian rhythm. If you're constantly eating different foods at different times, your body doesn't really know when it should start to get hungry. And so if you want to have a bit more predictability within your life, within your routine that actually fits within your schedule, I would highly recommend to eat similar meals at similar times. So try to have your breakfast at the same time, your lunch at the same time, your dinner, and whatever snacks you may have throughout the day as well. Try to regulate that the most you can. Number 12, eat slower. I know this sounds crazy, but hear me out. By eating slower, this will help with digestion and also help you feel fuller for longer. I want to tell you a quick little story here. Whenever I used to go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, I used to go ham and I used to go quick. I had this scarcity mindset where I had to fill up my plate as fast as I could and then eat the food as fast as I could so I could get seconds and then thirds and then fourths and then fifths. And it just felt like I was like almost in a rush. And it wasn't until I was on plate number 6 or plate number 7 when the food finally hit me and I actually finally realized that I was like, wait a second, I'm actually really, really full right now and my stomach is about to explode. Whereas if I just took my time with the food and did not rush the process, I probably would have felt that same feeling of fullness by plate number 2, for example. And so this was a mistake that I've learned the hard way. So please do not rush through eating your food, especially if you're sitting at home, you're having a regular breakfast or your regular lunch. Take your time with it. Chew a lot of it, chew very slowly, and do not rush the eating process to allow your body to actually catch up and actually signal to you whenever it actually feels full. Number 13, walk 10,000 steps to improve your health, burn calories, boost recovery, and decrease stress. There are so many health benefits associated to you just simply living a more active lifestyle, and that is why the whole 10,000 step mark is so popular. Not only does it burn more calories, it also improves your mood, helps aid in digestion, and so many other things. So try to set a daily step count goal. If 10,000 is too much for you, try to at least increase it by 2,000 right now. So if you're on average getting around 6,000 steps, try to get around 8,000 and slowly work your way up to around 10,000 steps. Number 14, in order to actually increase your daily step count, this is what I want you to do. Walk in the morning, during meetings, and after meals. By doing these small, simple little things throughout the day, you'll notice that your daily step count will increase by a lot. I turn this into a daily habit where every single morning before I start work, before I do anything, I go on a morning walk. And then after my meals, to help aid in digestion, I try to walk around as well. And whenever I take a meeting, if I can, obviously, I'll try to turn that into a walking meeting so I don't have to sit down on my desk and I can actually move around, get my steps in while talking to someone. Some small other things you can do as well is parking a bit further away from the grocery store, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, and stuff like that. Small little things like this can definitely add up to you increasing your daily step count, which therefore helps you burn more calories throughout the day. Number 15, fix your sleep. It helps you recover, increase energy, and also controls your appetite. When we are sleep deprived, when we lack sleep, two critical appetite hormones in our body actually go into opposite bad directions. So leptin, which signals to your body that you're nice and satisfied, actually goes down, and ghrelin, which is a hormone in your body that signals that you're always hungry and craving food, actually goes up. And so what you'll notice if you're not sleeping enough is you're going to be constantly craving more food, especially more junk food. And there's also been a lot of studies shown, and this scares the living crap out of me, and I hate telling people this, but it is the truth, and that is when we don't get enough sleep, we actually lose muscle mass and also are more prone to fat gain. And so the easiest thing anyone can start doing right away to improve their health and lose body fat is by simply sleeping more. And I know it sounds like a really lazy thing to do, but sleep is so important, so do not neglect it. Number 16, think long-term and give yourself enough time to get in shape. I know I said at the start of this video, if I only had 3 months, I would do all of these things, but oftentimes if we just simply increase the timeline and give ourselves more time to actually achieve our goals, we're not going to feel like we're going to be as rushed, and we can actually take our time with this. And then also going back to one of my earlier points, we can actually focus on building up the habits necessary to sustain these results as well. Number 17, you don't need a six-pack. Just get healthy enough to avoid diseases and medical bills. I think all of us are so obsessed with like six-pack abs, washboard abs, and I think social media can kind of like skew our perception of reality. But we have to keep in mind that social media is just a highlight reel. And a lot of people will do a lot of crazy things to just look the part on social media, but you have no idea what they're actually doing in real life. Not even to mention Photoshop and the whole use of anabolic steroids. A lot of these things can again skew our perception of reality and then also show us what's actually sustainable in the long run, because maintaining six-pack abs, especially year-round for a lot of people, is simply not sustainable. Some people can dip below a low body fat percentage but then cannot maintain that. So just simply focus on getting to a healthy point where you don't have all these medical bills pile up and you're just at a healthy body fat percentage. So for most guys watching this, anything around 12 to 15% body fat, you're going to be at a super healthy level. You're going to feel nice and energized, and you're going to feel really good about yourself. Number 18, and this goes to my previous point, stop comparing your body to other people, especially on social media. You have different genetics and different goals. And lastly, be grateful for what your body can do. It's doing what it can to keep you alive. Now, when you transform your body, you transform your life. I hope that this video can help you get into the best shape of your life in 2025. And if you want to make this the best, fittest year ever, be sure to go subscribe to my channel and follow my page for more fitness tips.